Are you going to relocate to the East Tennessee area, but you have a house to sell? And you're like, how do I do that? That is what this video is going to discuss. So if you have a home that you need to sell and you're thinking of relocating to Tennessee, what does that even look like? Let's dive in. Okay, so first of all, I want to make a disclaimer. At the end of the day, you did not ask, first of all, disclaimer to disclaimer. You didn't ask for a motivational speech. So I just want to acknowledge that. Here's the disclaimer. You, at the end of the day, have got to do what is best for you, for your family, for your situation. So yeah, ideally you could be super strategic and time it with the market, and you know exactly, it's like insider trading, you know exactly when the rates are going to go down and when's most beneficial for you and blah, blah, blah. No. The best time is for when it works for you and your family. So I just want to say that yes, there is strategy here, but like at the end of the day, we never know what's going to happen. Like the other day, someone was telling me about when COVID came out, as if it was a movie, like when the movie came out, when COVID came out. No one could predict that, right? So yes, yeah, maybe your timing based on stuff overall in the general real estate ether or greater world itself, but at the end of the day, you got to do what's best for you. So that's disclaimer number one. Number two is, my great encouragement is, regardless of whether or not you have a home to sell, that you come here first. Some of you are going to be like, no, Haley. And some of you are going to be like, why would I do that? Well, because I can't count on 5 hands the number of people that are shocked, for example, that we have mountains here. Or that, like some places don't have internet because they're so rural, or the number of people that are like, where's all the health food restaurants or whatever. I mean, that's like a bit extreme, but you know what I'm saying? I think you need to come here first. You need to visit first. That is my complete suggestion. With the exception of maybe you have a job, you're coming here anyways, it doesn't matter, right? But if you're trying to make a decision about where you want to go, but you've never been here before, and you don't have a job that is basically bringing you here, then you need to come here first. And ideally, even if you get a job here, you get to come, but like I've had some clients, they don't have that luxury. Okay, so I want to put that out there too. If you have the luxury and ability to come visit first, then my suggestion is for you to do that. So those are just some disclaimers. Now, let's talk about if you have a house to sell. Now, what I want to say is, ideally, you don't have a house to sell. However, if you do, there are some levers and strategy we can put in place in order for you to be successful. So we're going to talk about what exactly are those things. So I want to say also, what is your financial situation? In other words, do you have a payoff? What's your equity? Can you get a second mortgage? Do you want to get a second mortgage? Are you able to get a second home loan? Is this something where you're moving now or you're moving 2 years from now? And if you find the right thing, you're going to go ahead and purchase. So all of those are different situations. I've had multiple clients who aren't retiring for another 2 years, and they went ahead and bought, and they had to get a second home loan because they already had a mortgage, but now they are renting the property they bought here. That's one option. I've had other clients who they are moving here, they had a home to sell, they went ahead and got their home under contract, and then they started looking. So we're going to talk about like what is the kind of ideal situation to the don't do this situation. Okay. So the other thing is, back on the finance piece, you want to talk with a lender. So if you don't have the cash, or not going to be able to purchase the cash, or maybe you have the cash but you don't want to tie up your cash, whatever, talk with a lender about your options, because you might be able to get a bridge loan, which would allow you to not have a home sale contingency and would allow you to essentially sell or buy without selling. So I've had some clients who, yeah, they need to sell a house, but they don't have to in order to purchase. They can get pre-approved without that. And I have other clients who, yeah, they can do that, but they don't want that amount of risk. So again, that's why you got to get with a lender and see what your options are financially. And that is going to inform a lot of your strategy here. Okay. So get with a lender. Now, again, I just want to say, in general, you do not have a home sale contingency, but if you do, this is our plan. Okay. So the other thing I want to say is, even though I'm going to give you like, here's your steps from like the most ideal situation to the don't do this situation with the home sale contingency. This also all depends, because if you are trying to purchase or have the goal of purchasing a house in West Knoxville at the median price point and you have a home sale contingency, there is a very small chance right now in today's market, September 2023, that you are going to be successful at doing so. Those sellers are not going to accept that unless it's been on the market multiple days. Like if something comes on the market today, this morning, and you're submitting an offer with a home sale contingency in West Knoxville that's a median price point, no. It would be a literal miracle, which I do believe in miracles and I believe in magic. Okay, like I've got my Roald Dahl quote over there, that those who don't believe in magic will never find it. Okay, listen, we believe in magic here, okay, because great things happen, but I'm just telling you, that would be like even more magical. Okay, so these are ideal situations based on a general observation of today's current market in the Knoxville area. Okay, and the observations are, it also depends on what you're trying to buy. So again, if you're buying something that's been on market for a while, that's in a less like coveted area outside of West Knox or whatever, you're going to have a little bit more flexibility on how far down this scale you can be. Okay, so this is 1 through 8. These are like ideal. Ideal is 1 and 8 is like, you ain't ready. That's literally what I put in my notes. You aren't ready. Okay, so here's your option. You have a home to sell, and in an ideal situation, before you relocate, you go ahead and sell your house right now. And you're like, well, Haley, that would remove the home sale contingency. Exactly. So you go ahead and you get it sold, and you either rent there or you rent in East Tennessee. So, for example, I have had, true story, now more than one client who has sold their primary residence and moved into an RV. Now, I'm not saying that you need to move into an RV, okay? But I've had multiple people do this, either intentionally or because their house sold so quick that they knew they were moving. They're like, we can't do a year lease. Or people that just wanted to be like, we can, buy this pop-up for $1,500 or whatever. And those people are hardcore, because I'm just telling you right now, I can't imagine me and my husband in a pop-up, okay? Would be a disaster. Plus I get overheated. There's no way. I need air conditioning, okay? Even though I have camped before. Anyways, okay, so option 1 is you go ahead and sell right now and you figure it out. You either rent where you are currently living or you find a rental in the East Tennessee area. Disclaimer, rentals in the East Tennessee area are about 98% rented. So it is a tough market to find a rental depending on exactly what you're looking for. So that is ideal scenario. You go ahead and sell and you figure out what to do with everything else. Your stuff, maybe you just sell off all your stuff. You send it to junk, be gone. You pull it all in the dump. I don't know. You know what I'm saying. Option 1, you go ahead and sell now. And then you are 100% completely free to do whatever you want on the back end of purchasing. You remove your home sale contingency. So that would be like the top, okay? Option number 2 is you are currently making offers on homes and your house is under contract. All contingencies have been removed and there is no other home sale contingency in the works. Now that is a lot. So I said, number 1, your house is under contract. In other words, you have a solid closing date. Someone is going to purchase your home. You've seen proof of funds, like it is under contract. The second thread of this is all contingencies are removed. So you've gotten through inspections, you've gotten through appraisal, you've gotten through any contingencies that did exist, they have been removed. So you are essentially clear to close. And then the third thing I said is that there's not another home sale involved. So you don't want a domino effect where in order for your house to sell, the people that are buying it have something to sell, but you can only purchase if everything sells. So you don't want like a domino where if this top domino doesn't fall, you're not buying. So ideally, if you just don't go ahead and sell your house, you want it under contract and you want all contingencies removed. No other home sales are in the game. So that would be option number 2. Now, a third and great option, this is still totally doable, is that you have your house under contract and maybe it's still going through inspection period, or maybe you're waiting on the appraisal to return. All of those things. Now, also what I want to say is in these situations, say you have your house under contract and it's still going through inspections. Well, in your offer, we put this purchase is contingent on the buyer's home selling. We put the address, whatever. But we're probably going to either propose a shorter inspection period, or we may not ask for repairs. Or when we submit the offer, I might have already talked with the inspector and said, hey, bookmark me a date. So whenever I submit that offer, I say, we already have an inspection set up for X day, tomorrow, whatever. So that way you just look competitive. And another lever to pull is also earnest money amount. So the higher earnest money amount that you put up, the more perceived seriousness you are. Because obviously if you're putting up higher earnest money, then you are saying, no, I'm serious. Like, this is legit, right? So there are some levers amongst your offer, within your offer, we can pull based on the specific situation. So option 1, you sell and you're renting, whatever. Option 2, your house is under contract, but all contingencies are gone. No other homes are involved. Option 3, your home is under contract. Maybe you haven't gotten through all of your inspection contingencies. Option 4 would be that your home is just simply under contract. That maybe it literally just happened yesterday. You don't even have all the ducks in a row. Maybe title doesn't even have the contract yet, whatever. It literally just got under contract and you're just hoping like this is going to go smooth. Option 5 is your home is listed. So this means it's being marketed, it's offered for sale, and it is available for showings. It's not under contract yet, but it's listed and someone can go, whoever is the listing agent could go and see, oh, how much is it listed for? What does it look like? Is this more valuable or less valuable than the house they're trying to buy? They can scope it down. They can feel comfortable about it. They know it's listed and they know that you are on the selling train. Now, those 5 are the most favorable. The last 3 are not as favorable. So number 6 is your photos are ready and you could list your house within 24 hours. Now, we would never put this on an offer and say this house will be listed within 24 hours. We would not bound you like that at all. We would make the other party do that. However, worst case, if they say you need to be listed in 24 hours, we're not putting janky photos up of your house or whoever your agent is in the area that you're trying to sell. No, you don't need janky iPhone photos of your house, because where is the very first showing of your house? Online. That is correct. Which means you want to have all your photos and everything ready to go, and you can post those and you could list immediately. If they mandated you to do that, you could list immediately. So that would be option 6. That is like, if you can't just go ahead and list, you better be ready. Okay, so you could have your house cleaned. People could start walking through. You have a plan for what's happening with the dogs, with the kiddos, etc. So that's 6. Number 7 is your home is ready. We don't have the photos yet, but someone could come tonight and take photos for you. Professional person. Again, we're not using iPhone photos. We're not doing it. It's no. You want your house to look the best. You want the very first showing online to be like, this house is amazing. The point of the pictures is to get the most number of people through the door, which means you got to have people seeing photos that make them think, oh, I should go see that, right? Your photos should make people want to take action. This is clearly a big, passionate subject of mine. Anyways, okay. So maybe you don't have your photos, but your house is ready for the photos. Like walls aren't bright green. Things aren't looking cray-cray in there. You don't have stacks of stuff everywhere. You don't need junk be gone to come. Like your house is ready. Okay, now the worst choice would be you ain't ready. Option 8. You aren't ready to list. You need 2 weeks to get stuff ready. And the purpose of when I say get ready, I mean like your yard is right. The paint is good. You don't have holes in the wall. Your kitchen is clean. And like it's all decluttered. You have personal photos that are kind of awkward or weird. Like, listen, people will zoom in on those personal photos. Those glamour shots that you took back in the 90s, people are zooming in on those things if they're on your photos. Okay, so you need all that stuff gone. So if you are not ready at all, if you need a week for a photographer to come in and photograph your house, you are not ready. And that would be the worst situation of all of these. Now, at the very top of this, I said disclaimer. You've got to do what works for you. So we are talking about in an ideal world, it's already sold. And next ideal, you're already under contract and it is essentially clear to close. And the next ideal is you're under contract, maybe you still need appraisal, maybe you still need inspection, whatever. Then maybe you just got under contract. Then maybe you could list within 24 hours. Then maybe you are ready, but you don't have your photos. And then you ain't ready. You need 3 weeks, 2 weeks. You got to paint. You got to landscape. You got to, I don't even know what. So those are your layers. All of those have some form of possibility. But also, it depends on what you are trying to buy. Because if you're trying to buy something in a super competitive area, a home sale contingency is going to be difficult. However, 21% of homes in the Knoxville area, January to June, came back on market. And a lot of that was at no fault of the sellers. For example, financing fell through, something happened with the buyer, whatever. They backed out. No fault of the sellers. Or maybe they were just uncomfortable with an inspection report that said a doorknob was loose. It happens, okay? So those are actually gold because usually at that point a seller is more motivated. They don't want to go back through the process. And you're probably going to make some concessions when you have a home sale contingency. So again, there is a lot of strategy and it is very specific to each and every transaction, each and every home. That being said, ideally, you don't have a home sale contingency. But if you do, levels, as I said, is it's under contract, etc. I won't go back through that list. But that being said, I'm a firm believer that it always works out how it is supposed to, which may seem like very, but I believe it, I know it, and it always all works out, period. So that being said, don't be super discouraged. The first step of all of this process is to get your financial situation right. In other words, and I'm not even saying like, get your credit score to 1,500, which I know that's not a credit score, but I'm just telling you. Talk with a lender because depending on what your credit score is and how much cash you have in hand and how much equity you have, you may be able to avoid having that contingency if you're comfortable with it. Some people aren't, some people are. You have options, maybe a bridge loan, or maybe you could get a second home loan. So the lender is going to be key to this process to let you actually know what you can and cannot do and what would be a great fit for you. So anyways, I hope this has been helpful. A home sale contingency is definitely not a deal breaker and it won't make you unsuccessful. There are ways and levers we can pull in terms of getting you the best outcome. So that being said, obviously, I would love to talk with you about your specific situation. So you can always give me a shout on my text. Give me a shout on my cell phone. Text, I'm the most quick at responding. But it's 865-242-9221. It's all over everything, all over the notes. Or yeah, check out some of my other videos. And if you want more content specific to the East Tennessee area, this was like very in the weeds in terms of the home sale contingency process if you are moving to the area. So if you want like lighter content, then that's here too. That being said, I will see you on the next video.